pushing their hair back. Beautiful boys that slept in a horrible place. My sister died to save her children. There could have been a better way if there had been more time, but the blessing of time was long gone. Make your decision and move on, was the mantra after the world changed. Did I make the right decision?
The thought circled my mind, and I drifted off to the tune of our thudding mattress. I didn't know how long I was asleep, but I awoke to Lewis prodding my arm with his little hand.
Bo lay fast asleep on my chest. The water had risen so high I could sit up and touch the ceiling. The movement had stopped. The sound of wind had stopped. Silence. "Lewis, can you stand in the water?" I asked, holding the wall so his movement wouldn't topple the air mattress. "Go ahead, I'm right here." My voice scratched from thirst. The familiar rhyme made me smile. Water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Lewis was the braver of the two. He was the bravest 6-year-old I had ever come across. Not that I had a great deal of experience with children. That much was evident, considering I had asked him to step into murky water unaccompanied. But I needed to determine how much of a pain in the ass it would be to get out of this house. He wiggled his small body off the mattress while I gave him a reassuring nod. When he slipped off the side, I knew the water was deeper than I had hoped. He gave a slight smile, keeping his head afloat. "It can't touch," he gurgled, and brought his hands to the side of the mattress. I nudged Bo, waking him. Moments later, he left the mattress, clinging to my hip, fearful of the dark liquid that filled the room. I used my free hand to move floating cardboard and plastic hangers that bobbed on the top of our basement, which was now a lake, making my way to the exit. The door was already leaning in at the frame from the beating Mother Nature had given, and it opened easily. We trudged out of the water to higher ground. When I turned back, the devastation of our farm stole the breath from my body. Not a single tree had survived the destruction. Many lay down flat, while others tangled with the wreckage of homes and power lines. Our house no longer had a second floor. The barn was gone. There was no rubble, no evidence that it had ever held anything in its walls. It was simply missing. Swept up in the mouth of a third storm. There had been tornadoes a few years ago that had ripped off every roof in the county. Waiting on insurance and repairmen frustrated me, so I'd spent hot days laying tarps atop the holes and balancing on the edges of the second story. All that work. And now, there was nothing. What a waste of effort. "Blue, you two have to stay here," I ordered. My voice came out harsher than I wanted. I knelt next to them as they sat in the mud with deflated faces. "You were very brave last night. You can't get the supplies down because the water is too deep. When you see me toss the bags on dry land, you can help by bringing them up here. Don't drag them, carry them, understand?" They nodded in unison with identical, anxious green eyes. I wished I had packed towels as I watched the water drip from their hair as they shivered. "The first bag I'll bring will have clean clothes. Put them on and throw your wet ones to the side." They nodded again. We needed to walk toward Dean's house as soon as possible. I didn't know what time it was, but the sun was high in the sky. I wouldn't walk at night. I didn't want to drive at night, but I might not have a choice. Another storm drew near already. They were back to back, lined up in rows of destruction. Time wasn't on our side. I left the boys, doing the math in my head. There were 4 bags that I had to untie and remove from the ceiling of the basement, then carry back to Baloo.
I would have to do them one by one, and that would take about an hour.
Then there was the 3-mile walk to Dean's property. With the boys, I had to account for it an hour or two. I would encourage them to jog while I dragged the buggy to speed up the process. The drive was 4 hours at best, 6 at most if I had to travel off-road. It would be close to nightfall, and the ship left tomorrow before daylight. Dean had made it clear he would ensure we were on board, but I
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.